whatever that may
for
be.
the X-Men 97 Season 2 episode ranking. And I'm just going to keep it 100. We're doing two type of ranks today. We're doing episode versus episode, when in our reality, it's like how good was the episode standalone without the rest of the season. And then after that, we're going to be doing overall. And the overall is basically how does it flow together with the entire season? How does it mesh? And how is every episode, as you're watching it from one episode to the next episode, how does it completely feel? That's what we're going to do today. I'm Jordan Blainer, new Comga. Let's get it in.
I'm just out here walking on water. Feel free to come and get me. Ain't like I'm asking in the prison.
Starting with episode 1. Let's get this in. Days of Futures Past. Days of Past Future. So starting with episode 1, we're just gonna put it on the board. We'll put it at the bottom right here. We're gonna start it off right here at the bottom. This was the episode where we are taken to the future with Forge, and we find Cyclops and Jean, who have found Nathan, and he does not know that they are his parents yet. Storm and Wolverine are also here because we didn't know what happened to those two. They weren't shown because they were with Cyclops and Wolverine, or Cyclops and Jean, but they weren't shown. This is the episode where Apocalypse also goes back in time, where they fight the Horsemen, where Cable's destiny, Nathan's destiny begins as Cable, basically, but he doesn't even know it. And they spent a couple of months in the future with him. It's not such a great adaptation from the book, or from the comic book. It misses out a lot of stuff. I mean, they had 10 years. There's a lot of things. It was very fast paced. They had the hype moment, the action and everything. I'm not gonna lie, there was moments too, especially with Mother Ascani being added in this series and having that choice of not exploring Rachel Summers at all and still going with this. And so it was beautiful. And then her having the Phoenix Force too. So even though the episode ran really fast, I'm gonna have to move it. It's not 1 through 3. It's definitely not 4 through 5 or 6. Because it was Destiny at Pass and everything like that. Storm also doing what she did with the solar flare. Okay, so hands down, this episode right here was an 8. I'm giving episode 1, Days of Past Future, an 8. That's where it's going. That's where it's staying. And there's nothing I could do about that. Like, you just gotta let that be. And I think that's exactly where that goes. Now, moving on to episode 2, A Force to be Reckoned With. Episode 2, A Force to be Reckoned With, is basically Cable's X-Force, which is made up of himself, Archangel, Psylocke, Jubilee, and Sunspot. Jubilee and Sunspot are added onto the team. Basically, they're picked up and they're recruited. And then they're trained by Cable and Psylocke at the same time. So, I mean, Jubilee and Sunspot have taken a step up. This episode right here is... This episode here was real because it shows you how militant Cable is, what he's gonna do, and how far he's willing to go to actually get what he needs to do in his goal. And his goal is Apocalypse. Even though he took care of Apocalypse in the last series, it's a never-ending thing like between him and Apocalypse. They're gonna keep going. Them finding war, them doing what they had to do to war, Jubilee freeing X-Force and getting to do something Jubilee. I mean, Jubilee going ham, let's put it that way. They let Jubilee go ham. Psylocke doing the run. We got a lot of good things from this. This episode right here was top notch. It was going good. And they even gave us the X-Force opener. So I'm gonna put this where it's supposed to go. And the ending shows us Nathan becoming Cable in his very first mission, sending the X-Men back in time. What else can I say? Like, come on, man. You know how many times this man has saved the X-Men? It's not even funny. You know how many times he's had to betray the X-Men? It's not even funny, but he's always for mutantdom. He's always for the mutants. That's what Cable is. So now we're moving on to episode 3. Episode 3 is Rise of Apocalypse. And we're gonna drop... I can't even drop this right here. we're just gonna drop this automatically at 6. There's no reason to. Um, this episode right here showcasing Apocalypse's abilities as he fights off a giant mammoth like it's nothing, tears through Kang's army, or my bad, Ramatut's army, and it's Kang too. That's beautiful. They actually had Kang in these episodes right here, but he was Ramatut back in this time. He was trying to beat in Sabanur to the actual celestial place or the temple, and he didn't end up beating him. It seems like it was destiny, and Insabanur was chosen. Magneto trying to right his wrongs from what he did earlier to the planet. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was right for choosing to do that to Bastion, but wrong for what he was trying to do to all the humans. Well, he really wasn't wrong for what he was trying to do to humans. You guys literally like always betray them and always do the worst thing. Val Cooper said it best in season 1. Charles knows that Magneto knows the real you. So, past all of that, this was him trying to redeem himself by trying to change the past with Apocalypse and help him become an X-Men and one of the best X-Men and the Prophet. And I'm not gonna lie, I rarely say this, but as soon as we got into the episode and Xavier Astro projected to talk to him and told him
Shopping
that
for
man
the
is
next
the
car?
destroyer, and I was like, Xavier was right. Xavier was right.
With millions of cars
And then,
nationwide,
I mean,
Auto Navigator makes it
later
easy to
on,
find the perfect
them
one for
finding
you,
out,
whatever that may be.
and don't get me wrong, Apocalypse trying to free the
Shopping for the
slaves
next
is the
car?
greatest story
What
ever
about third row
because he
seats?
was a slave and everything that happened, it was so great, it was so beautiful because he was actually fighting for all the right things. And survival of the fittest is what he was being taught by his father, Ball. I mean, it was what it was. So episode 3, and what the betrayal, he finds out that they've been working on they've been taking Ramatut's machines and doing something, trying to create, he thinks it's a weapon but he doesn't know it's a time machine, and he doesn't let them explain. And then Bishop shows up and then Ramatut blasts them because Xavier goes into old boy's mind. Oh, okay, so this episode right here, man man not gonna lie, man. This episode right here and how it just focused on my man. I had to give it a 9. I gotta give it a 9. It's gotta go there. It's gotta go there. That's what that one was. We were top notch. We were flying this season. And then, yeah, it's going up here. Episode 4. Episode 4 is the death of Ball. Spoiler alert: the death of Ball and all the 40 thieves or whoever, the cabal or all the people with Apocalypse, they all basically get killed. And then the X-Men get up and he's cool with them because they survived, so that means they're the fittest. And I was laughing because I was like, Magneto can block that blast too, and Magneto did. He tanked it, like, hilarious, like he completely did. So I guess this is the one also where Charles goes into his mind and sees that his mother left him in the desert, and the life that he went through as a slave. And man, it was horrible. Like, even the other people didn't want to sleep with him next to him, so they huddled together in the rain, and he had to sleep by himself outside in the rain. And I'm like, man, y'all are just messed up, dog. Like, completely messed up, G. Like, oh my god, like, you guys are super messed up for what you're doing. Like, how could you treat another person like this? But of course, he had the blue lips and everything, and the gray skin. He was able to lift statues by himself. Yeah, so they left him where he was as a slave. They were scared of him. Even other slaves wouldn't come near him. Damn. Oh, and then this is the episode 2 where they also find the temple and he becomes Apocalypse, and he also whoops all the X-Men ass and Magneto before he even transforms. And then Magneto sacrifices himself. Yeah, and then we get I would make a horseman of you were it for not a lack of spleen. Alas. What was it? Alas.
With millions of cars nationwide, Auto Navigator makes
it's something
it
never
easy to find the perfect
feels
one for
mighty
you,
when stepping on
whatever
an
that may
ant.
be.
Yeah, like
Shopping for
A
your next
coward
car?
only feels mighty. Alas,
What about a
a
sunroof?
coward only feels mighty when stepping on an ant. Let's be real.
With millions
Banger.
of cars nationwide,
Banger with
Auto Navigator makes
lines.
it easy
With
to
the
find the perfect one for you.
black
whatever
hole
that
with
may be.
Magneto having to stop it. Banger. Banger. Bars. Pure fire. Everything that they wrote, what I wanted and more. All right. So now on to episode 5, because the Rise of Apocalypse hands down was top notch. Let's just put it that way. Everything that happened was top notch. Episode 5, we got Weapon X, Lies, and DVDs. And we're just gonna start this off at 1 through 3. All right, so this was a Wolverine and a Morph episode, with them getting the old gang back together after having after the credit scene of the cover of an old X-Men cover, with Captain America, Wolverine, and Black Widow on it. Episode 4 showing Wolverine meet up with Captain America and Black Widow, and them giving the information on a new Weapon X facility. He goes with Kane, Maverick, Sabretooth, and Lady Deathstrike, and of course Morph, because I said this is a Wolverine and Morph episode. This episode gives tones of you seeing that Morph likes Wolverine and wants him to reciprocate that he likes him back, but Wolverine is not going to reciprocate that he likes him back. They get into this facility, and you're led to believe in the beginning that they want to take it down, but then they find that their brood is here and that scientists have been doing experiments on the brood, and then some of them get infected and Wolverine gets infected, and by the end of this they have to fight Omega Red, and they find out that the only way to save Wolverine is to infect him with adamantium again, and that will get rid of the brood. So that's the answer to saving him. And so they infect him with the adamantium, and they basically bring him back to being who Wolverine is. So basically, Wolverine gets his adamantium back, and with him getting his adamantium back, he comes out, kicks ass, kills the brood, a lot of brood, fights Omega Red, manages to kick him off, and fights him one-on-one without a problem, with not needing anybody else, because in the last series, he needed
Shopping
Storm
for your
and
next car?
Darkstar's power.
What about third row seats?
But then this one, I guess they wanted to show him off and give him his moment. So
With millions of cars
let me
nationwide,
think.
Auto Navigator makes
This
it easy
episode
to find the
standalone
perfect one for
itself,
you.
if I was to
Whatever
watch
that
this,
may be.
it had action. Excuse me. It had a lot of thrills. Honestly, I could put it right here at 7. For a standalone by itself, if I was to watch this episode and just get enjoyment from it, it would be a 7. Number 6 is, my bad. Episode 6 is Danger.exe. Now, this episode right here basically starts where Lorna is showcased a lot more. We had X Factor back in episode 2. That's what I forgot. X Factor started back in episode 2. X Force was that great. And now Lorna does something here, and basically that gets her fired from X Factor. So she moves back with the X-Men, and then we get Danger that pops up, and we go through a lot of stuff. They had a lot of good stuff from the comic book, straight up. It went down. It went down. Um, and yeah, Lorna got to showcase and really show how much of an X-Men she is. She's one of the greatest X-women. She's up and coming. No, I'm lying with you. She's one of the great lower tier, greater X-women, but still greater X-woman. She's not up there with Storm and them, but she's old. I'll say she's older than them, but yeah, that's my opinion. You ain't got to take it as fact, but yeah, Lorna is still one of the greatest X-women. Trying to think. Her and Bishop were going ham this episode. And then Danger went to the island, I'm not gonna lie. And then Jean and Cyclops attacked one time and said she knows all our moves. And then they tried to do some different stuff. She absorbed Jean's telekinesis. I guess she can absorb psionics because she was had cerebrotech. Lorna going off over the father she never knew. I mean, and that she went ham. I gotta put this one at an 8. But again, this story was super rushed. Nah, yeah, it was super rushed. It was super rushed. Danger came out of nowhere. I wish we had seen the what's it called, Danger Room before this. But this is a standalone. Think of standalone. You just turned it on, you watched it. Yeah, because Lorna got to explore some stuff. And this was really her episode, and this is a standalone. Alright. Episode 7. Strange Land, Savage Heart. This was the episode with Exodus and the acolytes Magneto taking Graydon Creed, who is running to become president of the United States. Oh man. And Nightcrawler sticking up for him. And them going into a court session basically for and against Graydon Creed. And Colossus having to be the judge made it more beautiful at the end that Colossus said, "No, you didn't sway me, but you would have swayed my sister." And the funny thing is, I don't think that they would have swayed his sister at all. Magic would have been like, "Hell no! Have you seen what this dude does? Get rid of him." Not gonna lie, I had a very dumb moment with Exodus getting killed by a gun because he's an immortal mutant, so that's just crazy. And the fact that he really did hold back because he went one-on-one with Kurt and he didn't have to. He could have really exercised his power and he could have done anything he wanted to easily. He could have ragdolled all of them, but he didn't. They're back at the Savage Land, and Beast still didn't think to give them something that would stop them from dampening their powers or create something that would short out the inhibitor tower. Nothing. My man just completely was just like, "Oh no, we've been here and our powers, they go away, but don't worry, I won't think of anything again." Yeah, okay. Yeah. Bishop and Polaris again going ham. All right, this one right here. This one, I'm gonna have to give this like a 6. I gotta give it a 6 because yeah, how you return to the Savage Land, my man, and you ain't got no plan for the Savage Land. That don't make no sense. I know you're scientists, but you also X-Men. Like, y'all get beat by something, y'all come back better, stronger. And the fact that you never ever thought to think of something to stop the inhibitor tower so that you guys can retain your powers, like, that's just crazy. Yeah. My thing was you never asked the question of, oh, what was Mr. Sinister using so that they can use their powers? And then you could just duplicate it or make a better version of it. Like, Beast, you be killing me, G. You be killing me, dog. All right, let me just let that know. Let that be known. Let that be known. All right. Now, episode 8 is The Dead Man's Hand. That is the episode where we have the return of Gambito, the card shark himself, the greatest. Remy. I think he kills Kandra using his death sickle, which should be able to do because it's better than just a gun, because she's an external. And he didn't even kill her; he really just took her and made her into the thing that she is, where her power really is, and sealed her inside of it. This is also the episode where 2 Omegas and a and a normal telekinetic have to lift up a cargo plane that's dropping out of the sky. They really needed 3 of them to stop that from crashing out of the sky. That's crazy hilarious. Because honestly, to me, I truly believe that Jean could have did it herself. But at the same time, I also believe that Psylocke and Jean could have done it together, but for some reason they actually needed Cable to help them. So I'm guessing this is them wanting to push the Summers family thing, because yeah, there should have been no reason that they needed third help. It should have been either Jean should have been able to do it or Psylocke should have helping Jean. They should have been able to achieve it. So, damn. What do we got? What do we got? Them getting to Gambit, the big brawl, the big fight. Finally, the X-Men and X Factor, or my bad, X-Men and X Force and X Corps coming together for the first time ever. I mean, I was really supposed to feel good about this. I'm trying to think. I got hype though. I got hype. But I can't say much. I can't. What's it called? I'll say this. I can give it a 7, but I can't go anything past that. Gambit looked the same. He didn't look different at all. There was nothing. Yeah, he didn't have the look from the comic book that he should have had. They just literally just changed his color palette. Gee. And then it was Apocalypse that took over him. It wasn't just him. And then Apocalypse had his own body. He took him over. Maybe he was using his Omega level abilities because Gambit was supposed to be an Omega level mutant. He had to go to Sinister to get something taken out of his head to stop being one because he was too powerful. So maybe that's what's it called? That's what they were trying to achieve with this writing, over here. So I can give episode 8 a 7. Yeah, I can give episode 8 a 7 and feel good about that. So, last one, episode 9, Survival of the Fittest, where we have X Factor and X Force come together to take down X Corps and the X-Men. They need to get to Gambit. They want to kill him, and because if they kill him, they kill Apocalypse. Standalone. Trying to think because we have a lot of good moments. I'm not gonna lie, I like the Wolverine Psylocke morph versus Archangel moment, especially when Wolverine pulled her katana and they was running it. What else was there? Trying to think. What else was there? There was a lot in this episode. Cable coming down from the top, starting the fight with his parents. Because right when he got there, I said, Cyclops, Scott, just optic blast him. You're going to have to take him down. And he's like, I don't want to hurt you. No, you shoot him. He's going to come at you. And then it got even funnier later on because Val Cooper's like, Cable, what's going on? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm sitting over here fighting my parents. Have you met them? And yeah, that was funny too. I'm glad I was waiting for him to go for the visor with his telekinesis. I was just waiting, and he finally did it and pulled off Cyclops' glasses. And as soon as the visors went, that's where he had to close his eyes. And I was like, yeah, you need to get him out of the game, buddy. And I was like, because as long as his eyes are open and he could see, he's coordinating an attack against you. And you're going to get wrapped up eventually, and you know that. And the beauty of it is he had to pull those visors off. And then after he did a big hit to the entire building, and then managed to get all the way up to Gambit and get past Polaris, get past Bishop, and then Xavier came out and didn't do nothing, and he murdered Gambit, and then Gambit proceeded to turn into the worst looking fusion of Apocalypse and Gambit I've ever seen in my entire life. Then he took over the X-Men and X Factor and everybody and told Xavier, I told you those you love would be your undoing, and Xavier just said no, because at the beginning of the episode, Beast, Nightcrawler, and Rogue found ship in the ocean and went there, and when they found ship in the ocean, Rogue went into it and basically talked to Isan and told him she's willing to make the sacrifice, and came out and she took off, and now she lands and she drains Apocalypse from Gambit, saves him, but now she has to pay a sacrifice. But at the end of it, her power goes away. She's Celestial Rogue, which is, oh my god, why? Why? There was, I don't know where we went this episode. I know the action was top notch in the beginning. For what I don't like to see X-Men versus X-Men stuff, but they went in the beginning, and then at the end it just was. So I can give this episode a 6 because this was on the underside completely. Completely and utterly. And I'm going to take a picture of this. This is the X-Men standalone ranking from Comga. I'm sad to say that I'm proud of this, but I am proud of this. I am super proud of this. Now, we're going to run this from flow based on the entire season, the overall season, the entirety of it. Like I said, back to episode 1, Days of Past Future. I've already explained this one to you guys. This one was heart and near and dear, easily opening up back at 8. Easily. Episode 2, A Force to be Reckoned with X-Force, with the opening for X-Force, with how it came perfectly right after. It just fits. And it closed out the first episode. They went ham. If I had gotten to see more stuff in the first episode for episode 8, maybe if it was a 45-minute to an hour episode, maybe it would be a 9 or a 10 right now. But there was a lot of stuff that they didn't do. I felt like in that episode, for episode 8, and this pertains to episode 5, that they could have explored Wolverine's emotional feelings over him attacking the hounds and him noticing that his bones keep breaking and that he's not capable of protecting. Like, say, we needed to show somebody get captured that he loved and they got killed or something in this, and not like love, but somebody that he was growing attached to, something, because in episode 5 he wanted to get his claws back because he wanted to protect the people that he loved. But I felt like this episode should have been extended to give him maybe more time and them more time to show us the love between them and Nathan. And then Forge and Storm also needed more because this season they really got nothing at all past 1 or 2 scenes. One scene together, and then the others were pertaining to the teams doing things. So I could say that easily this episode 2 right here we opened up very strong. Then once we had these guys done, and the funny thing is these were both 2-parters whether we know it or not, even though the Rise of Apocalypse part 1 and part 2 seems like the only 2-parter. This one was, because this one closed out the very first one and was showing us the present of what Cable was doing at the moment, which was linear to what they were doing in the past. Now on to episode 3, The Rise of Apocalypse. I can easily give this a 9. This episode was top notch. There was nothing bad about this episode, other than the only thing bad about all these episodes that I'm not saying is they were rushed. All of them are extremely rushed. There's no reason for me to even have to repeat that, but just know that comes with all of these. They are rushed. The stories are just too quick, too tight, too compact, and move, baby. And they are completely rushed. So this right here, the only reason I gave it a 9 is because, again, the wordage, the things that were happening, Magneto trying to right his wrongs and redeem himself through Insabanur. Perfect. And this is also the other side. Again, notice how we're exploring the emotion of what happened before, what came in the episodes before. He's now over here trying to redeem himself because of what he had done to the planet prior. Just like in these episodes right here, we didn't get we got a lot of my bad. In episode 1, Cyclops didn't want to tell him that he was his father because he had felt that they had abandoned him and that they were going to have to abandon him again. And they didn't want to give that to him. They didn't want to have him feel that. These were the only episodes where we really got some character emotion. And it wasn't even a lot. It was very little. And that's crazy. And so, this one right here is easily a 9. We're going to move on from it, not to linger too long. Episode 4, The Rise of Apocalypse Part 2, showing the past, everything that happened, everything that went down. Again, rushed. Kang being even great. Rushed, but a lot of action, beautiful, and they brought about the death of Magneto. 9. Now, that's the top notch that we're going to get for this season. The rest of this season, I'm just going to keep it real from here on out. Yeah. So, we have the X-Men who ended the very first season going through time, half of the team going to the past, half of the team going to the future. Mother Scully moved them. As soon as we get the X-Men back in the present to the 90s, you give me the first episode of Wolverine and Morph? Really? Really? Because I'm ready to see the whole team back together. I'm ready to see Jubilee. Even though Jubilee's now wanted because she's X-Force, I would expect her to still contact them. I would expect Xavier to still contact her. That's just the truth of that matter. But you give me a Wolverine episode? Then you give me a Wolverine episode where he lies to his friends to do something that was traumatic to him. And of course, they took his memory after it, so he didn't remember after he got those calls what had happened to him before. And you say that Wolverine needs these. You dare give me this episode about Wolverine after we get back to the present with the whole team. When you could have given me an episode where Wolverine they're at a party or something, they're celebrating being back in the normal time, and Wolverine drinks beer and walks out like Wolverine because he sees them and he's happy that they're happy together, but then he's gotta go. Why does he have to go? He has to go because he realizes that he can't protect his family and he might need something, and more follows him. And then there it goes. But this episode needed to be longer too, because we should have included seeing Jean and Cyclops, though they're happy to be back in time. We never got to explore the sadness of them having to leave their son in the future. Ever. Never. There was nothing. You guys never explored it at all. And this was a moment to explore that too. But no, this was also an episode where this is why we need more episode or more minutes. An episode where you should have also had the moment to show that Xavier was stepping down from there. We should have brought X-Corps in during these. And that Storm is becoming headmistress at this. And that you're telling everybody. But no, you gave me a Wolverine episode of him contradicting his character just a little for some fucking adamantium and the broods. And you also made Sabretooth sexy to people, which is crazy. That is crazy. Okay. Ugh. Let me move on. Yeah. We're gonna put you here. This episode was a 4 to a 5. Because how dare you? Now, moving on to the next episode, Danger.exe. As much as I love Danger, as much as I love Polaris, like I said, Polaris was up this episode. There was nothing for Danger at all. She wasn't even the Danger of what she was supposed to be. She was a survival of the fittest apocalypse. I'm going to be the Magneto that you need to make you stronger, Charles, and the X-Men. And we had comic book moments, don't get me wrong. Like, I can't remember the name of the student that got hurt, but everything happened, that moment happened like the comic book, so on and so forth. Small things. I love to see Sync. I'm so happy that Sync was there. My heart. Polaris and Bishop go off. We are back in the past. Now, this is an episode after being back in the past, and we had a Wolverine one, and now this one's a Polaris one. And we still have not seen the entire X-Men. We've seen them, but they're not together. And when we see them together sitting down, that's the Danger Room. It's not really them. And then when we finally see the headmistress Storm, the goddess, there's Forge and whoever else is there. I'm trying to remember. It's Bishop and stuff. That's who's with her at the X-Men. Wolverine's supposed to be there too, but they're gone. And so it's just crazy because X-Corps has split from them and they're now in Genosha, and that's just like, it's happened and none of it was explained. We go and see them later, and it's just like, that's what it is. There was nothing in between to put these moments together to help for anything of these episodes. That's how fast they were. Um, so Danger really wasn't even Danger, and it's crazy. And Polaris goes off, and they use the connection between her and Magneto, and she didn't even know him, and she just kind of comes out of left field in this season. Again, Polaris up, no hate, but I wish you guys had. I kind of felt like there should have been done a little bit more for her last season. And I get within the second episode, you were kind of showcasing that you were going to show her more. But this is why you needed more episodes, because you give a Wolverine episode than a Polaris episode, and people are still sitting over here waiting for the other X-Men's episodes. And I know people can say, if you want their episodes, go back and watch the originals. That's not what we're fucking watching this for. Literally, season 1 had them go in only a certain amount of times because that's all it could give in 10 episodes. So now we fucking have 9. It's gone down by 1 episode, and you're going to give it to Wolverine and Polaris. Come on, man. Where was the build-up for Polaris? Past episode 2 in this season. And then Wolverine, right now, pivotally, we just got back in time. Now we're 2 episodes deep in. The team is split. We haven't seen them back together fully. And you're just keeping them apart. And it's just rushed. So it's just flying. So this episode right here with Polaris and Danger and everything that happened, even the whole Danger absorbing the psionics from Jean thing, I gotta give this a 4 out of 5, G. Because the fact that Polaris had to be the one to take down Danger, the alpha level mutant had to take her down, the omega level mutant couldn't produce enough power to do it. Yeah, G, we're gonna put this in the books for the 4 and the 5 right here. Now, on to the next episode, which is Strange Land, Savage Heart, episode 7. Exodus episode. They took Graydon Creed. I agree with them. He's a racist. He's a bigot. Like, dude shouldn't be running for, should not be running for president at all. But sometimes that stuff reflects real life. It is what it is. Art reflects real life. It is what it is. You got to live with it. This episode right here, where Exodus getting shot and killed, which is incredibly dumb. Him showing his powers, the teleport, everything before that stuff was cool. Them coming down, return to Savage Land, Beast being an idiot. Another Polaris and Bishop episode flowing into out of the present, which we're supposed to be building up to Apocalypse 2, because he had left from back in time in the future and came back in time, and he's also supposed to be back in time because he should be, or no, unless that one that went back in time was the Apocalypse from the last season, from season 5, that got into Cortez's body, and that's what we were just saying happened right there, was him time travel there. So there, it would be one Apocalypse back in time. The fights were cool, but the whole Beast being done thing is really, it's itching at my soul. It's itching at my soul. And yeah, it was another Polaris and Bishop episode. Now, I love that Bishop is getting his shine in this episode a little bit more too, because it's about time. He was supposed to be on season 1, but he was there till like episode 3, and then he disappeared for the rest of the season and didn't come back till the end of the season. So I love to see him getting his shine because he was set up for this. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a Polaris hater. I'm glad that she gets to shine with him, but I just know that I'm a fan. You know, I'm a fan of Jean Storm, so I wanted them to get more time, but they've had enough time, I guess, is what they would say. So happy that Rogue was here. But you notice this was also the future team again, just added with Polaris. So they're literally the teams that they were split up into for the past and the present is kind of what they stayed with in the future. Or my bad, and in the past and the future is what they stayed in the present. And so that was kind of disappointing because we're on episode 7 and still the whole team is not back together. But you know what? I can easily give this one right here a 6. This episode dealt with a lot of real stuff because Nightcrawler is a man of faith, and of course, Graydon Creed is his brother. No matter how racist and bigoted it is, Nightcrawler does believe in him. Nightcrawler would try to save him. He would try to do that, and so hands down, episode 7, yeah, I can give that a 6. Episode 8, Dead Man's Hand. With Gambit coming back into life, Gambit going OG, Gambit doing his things, killing Kandra, taking over the Assassin's Guild, using the Assassin's Guild rather than having Apocalypse make new Horsemen of War and taking over the Assassin's Guild and stuff like that. This episode was cool. The battle with Xavier was cool. They went old school with it, having Xavier wear his stuff, the same stuff that he wears back in the day. They was trying to keep it original. No hate to them for it. But they kind of defeated him very easily. And though I know that this does move on to the next episode, we had a lot of build up for this. A lot of build up for it. And it just fell flat. It honestly, it fell completely flat. And then we have the end, which is survival of the fittest, which shows the fusion of Apocalypse and Gambit, which I pray we never do this again, because now, after this episode, we have renamed X-Men 97 Season 2. It is now called What If X-Men 97 Continued Past Season 1. And this is what you would get. And this is not what you would want to get, okay? They use some original stuff rather than comic book stuff, and it should have been shelved. There's nothing wrong with Celestial Rogue, but this was not the moment to do a Celestial Rogue. But this also shows what happens because these first 4 episodes happen to be somebody else's work heavily, and you can tell that they weren't fully adapted correct. And yet still I gave them an 8 and a 9 because I kind of understood the message of what they were going for, even though they're too fast and they need to be longer. They need to be longer. Every episode should be 45 minutes to an hour. That's just the truth of it. But these episodes right here, they didn't have the same heart. They didn't have the same feeling. Episode 9, I honestly could leave it right here at 1 through 3. There would be no reason for me to move it up based on what happened in this entire episode. Like I said, I don't like X fighting X, but they got it in. That was the good moments of this episode. And then everything that happened at the end with them just trying to bring around Apocalypse's words of, the people you love will be your undoing and all of that. Yeah. The buildup wasn't enough, especially with the ways that episode 8 went down. And yeah. Storm did very little. Yeah. I could put this at 4 to 5. I could leave it at 1 to 3, but I'll put it at 4 to 5 because this was an all-round battle royale in the beginning. And those parts of the episode were actually okay. Except for Polaris playing stupid and not bending any of the metal and fucking everybody up. Like, that's all I could say about that. This is how it would go. This is how I would put this season right here in a shelf. It began really good and started off very strong and died extremely quickly for the last 5 episodes. There's nothing you could do about it. I would say that we need to get rid of the showrunner and hire some new writers, hire a new team that actually cares about and knows some X-Men stuff. And I'd say multiple people that know X-Men stuff, not just one person. That way they can kind of bounce it off of each other and read more X-Men comics if they need to. That way they can learn more stuff and then be able to bring it and help send these arcs and establish plot lines that are bigger, bolder, and take it back to season 1's level and progress it past that possibly. Because right now, I don't want to see a season 3 and a season 4. I'm scared. And this also shows you, if somebody else does work for it, don't take their work and use it, especially if you fired them 2 years ago. You can't say that you're honoring their work to the T if it wasn't completed by them and you started the work and you did it yourself. So that's the one thing I could say about that, is you guys should have gone back to the drawing board, or what you should have done was taken his work and I guess you didn't want to consult him or what's it called either, but yeah, the drawing board, or hired another writer that knew about X-Men that could have seen the beauty of what he had and made it more beautiful and more powerful in his own way and taken this to a better direction, because this was not the direction that it should have gone. It had a monumental start and it blew up and it was dead after 4 weeks of being into the world. It stopped trending. So I say I believe in you guys, but I heard that season 3 is already finished, and I hope that you took your sweet time. But I keep hearing that people love this. Not people. I keep saying that when I see their interviews, they love the episodes and with the work they've done. I think all the actors and everybody, the production, everybody, the writers, illustrators, not writers, voice actors, I think they all did a great job. However, I think it's on the writers to produce something better for them, something bolder for them, and to actually take their time and not just, because this is not cool. This is not cool at all. I'm Jordan Blaine, new Comga, and this was the X-Men 97 Season 2 ranking, and it's verified.
Life is sink or swim, as you can see, I chose to float. Know that I'm the one. Guess it's time to show I am, and prove to y'all that I'm as great as I know I am. Yeah.